Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is Tuesday, and the markets are, as I called it yesterday, a dead cat bounce, but it keeps on bouncing, so we'll have to keep on watching. To me, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of enthusiasm, but just every time they sell the market down, it seems to find a way to come right back. And it sounds like the Fed is just, propping the market up at this point. It's because I'm hearing all kinds of interesting things from money managers where they're saying, the S&P 500 is trading at 21 times earnings, and like Disney's trading at 28 times earnings. And it's like, that makes me nervous, they say, especially when you miss on your estimated earnings and so forth and so on. And it just seems to be like the Fed just walks in and just firms up the market, and then it walks away for a while, and when it gets weak, it walks back in again and firms it right up again. All right, now you can see here we have the dollar index this morning. Oh, let me go to the chat line. I haven't even opened up the chat line. Let's open that chat line. There we go. And let's see what's on the chat line. So far, I don't see anything particular. There we are. Oh, there's Robin. Hey, Robin, how you doing? Now, yesterday you were saying you threw grains on the tape there. I didn't see it. So we'll take a look at the grains today. Definitely look at all of them are acting very strong. We have red wheat almost heading for the $7 a bushel now. Everything looks very firm. Soybeans, I think last week or the week before, I guess it was last week, they went into the buy. And then what you see is they're lifted again yesterday. After being going into the weekly buy last week and the daily buy, then they lifted them up even bigger yesterday. So it seems like the grains are really starting to, for whatever reason, they feel like they need to own them. So we'll have to go after them and take a peek and see what's going on there. If anybody else cares to point out something, we'll go check that out. But yeah, there's no doubt we've seen the grains start to act pretty well in there. All right, so there's the dollar index. You can see it's a little bit firmer today, but we're still in daily sells. And we're in the weekly buy too at the same time. But here we go. Look at that. It's starting to break down a little bit. We're starting to show a little weakness there. Interesting. Now let's check out the. Let's check out on the main platform. Let's see. Where's it at? What am I looking for there? Okay. So there we go. And we'll put it up on the other platform and see what it is suggesting. What is it telling us? And you can see there, it's still in the weekly. Right there it is, and it's playing around. It's trying to lift up a little bit. The daily is actually trying to turn. We'll see. And the weekly, since the fast broke down, right with that's interesting. But more than that is at with the slow daily. So the weekly fast broke down, but the slow weekly algorithm is not, and that's what the one we pay attention to more. We look at the fast as like some insight. What could be around the corner, but I trust the slow more because the overall trend weeks after weeks and so forth, we can see fast slide in and then slide out, but without a doubt the slow seems to hold its own very well there. Let's see, we go to I guess that's about it when it comes to the dollar index. Seems to be hanging around in this area, and we'll just keep on watching and seeing. So now let's go take a look at the euro. See what the euro is up to today. There it is right there. You see that strength kind of moving up, and it's not doing anything particular in the sense that it's not exciting us. It's not trying to. It's firm. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It is definitely firm, and they do. They have this guessing game. Are they going to lower rates? Are they not? Someone this morning was talking about actually increasing them again. Cracks me up when they talk about increasing them. There's no way in the world the Fed is going to increase anything. They're in there involved in the marketplace every day. There's no way they're going to increase it. But what they may do is, they will be stepping up and buying and holding up the stock market. They do their best as they can with the bond market. But the bond market is such a big market, they have a hard time manipulating it. Unless they start printing more money and throwing it out there and giving it to the funds for free, which they do at times. They lend it to them overnight for free, and they constantly are trying to influence the market through many different means. Not counting about the possibility of them just having that third portfolio that everybody talks about, but they refuse to allow to be audited. That's the one I think you have Lloyd's of London in, and they own all these different corporations around the planet that had fell apart. They probably owned Merrill Lynch bonds, things like that. They own Citibank bonds and stock. Citibank is now a good example of the whole thing, and is that Citibank now is what is it? It's almost 3 times higher. Citibank is 3 times high off its low. That's what it is. 3 times higher off its low. So in other words, its low is basically $2.10, and it's now trading at $6.40, and it's about 93% off its all-time high. So it's as much as you can play with the math. You can say, wow, look at Citi. It's 3 times higher than what than its all-time low, and it's really lifting. And then you go and look at it and see it. It's like 93% off its all-time high. So it's like, ooh, I guess it's not that good. And that's how money managers play the game. They like to make things sound better than what they are. All right, from the euro against the dollar, you can see there it's still flirting with the weekly sell right there. You see that? See if it's showing up on the chart. Yeah, I think it is. Should be popping on. There it is. And at the same time, you can see the daily is in a buy for a third day. It's trying to lift up. It's trying to show some strength, and they keep on believing that the Fed is going to do something good for the market. They need to, because Mr. Biden is down in the polls, and they've got to do something to make him look like he knows what he's doing. There we are. So from there, we're going to go over to take a look at the cable. And there's the cable. Cable's been in a buy over 10 weeks now. 10 days now. And it's in a weekly sell still over the last 7 weeks. So that's why it's got that big, long downwardly slope. It has made a nice little bottom in here, and we see, the daily representing that clearly, but the weekly is having a hard time getting off of its back and moving in the right direction. All right. From there, we go over to the Swiss, the inflation fighters. And that is still in a sell, but it has been going in the wrong direction the last 2 days. And it's in the weekly buy, and that's why we always coordinate the weekly with the daily. If the weekly's in a buy and the daily's in a buy, then we buy. If the weekly's in a sell and the daily goes into a sell, we short it. But when it's in a daily sell and a weekly buy, that's a neutral, and we steer clear of it. Now, if you if you have a position, of course, then you can always just use options to hedge it very easily. We talk about that a lot around here. A lot of times people don't really want to hear about the options, but that'd be like driving a car without insurance, or not having health insurance, or not having home insurance, or having life insurance. The options are the insurance for the equities. And it's really odd how they never even described them as an insurance policy for your equity in your stocks. All right. All right. From there, we slide over to the yen. You see, the yen is trying to get back into the daily buy. It's in a weekly buy. For the last 8 weeks, and that was a real surprise to see that punch into the 60s. And we're waiting to see if it doesn't seem like the Bank of Japan has any ability to really control this situation. It seems like it's going with the flow of the market. I guess on a given day they do, but they are so overextended, it makes it hard for them. It's one thing when it's 10 years ago or 20 years ago where they can step in and hold up markets, but they've been borrowing money for so long to hold up their economy that at this point they're kind of running out of bullets, I guess you could say. That's the way I like to look at it. They're running out of bullets. And basically, at the same time, China has grabbed up a lot of the business that they were doing with the United States. So that's the other thing. They between having competition and them, competition for the American dollar, it makes it tough. Hence probably why China never floated its currency, won't float its currency as much as it wants its currency to be the world reserve currency. Got to float your currency first before you can be the world reserve currency. All right. From there, we go over to that magical experiment, the Turkish lira. Let's see what the Turkish lira is up to today. There it is right there. It's in a buy now for a third day. Let's grab one of these. Just stick it right there like that. And it's kind of sideways more than anything else. And the weekly is climbing back into that weekly buy after 33 weeks in a sell. 33 weeks in a buy. Went into the sell last week. And here it's already trying to turn around. And again, we put that big rectangle box up there because we believe that the currency itself is going to probably stay in that range for a long while. Not sure why it would be lucky to do so, but it does seem like it's trying to establish some type of range, which would really help the people of Turkey out. It would be nice if their currency would just lock itself in a range and stay in it, and then they wouldn't have to second guess it. It must have been very brutal to go through 1 to 2 and then 2 to 4 and then 4 to 8 and then 8 to 16 and then 16 to 32 and then getting up into the what did it get up to? And got into the 36s. So, it's been a tough 8 years, 9 years with the Turkish lira. Very tough. All right. And then from there, we'll go over to the South African Rand and we'll start looking at some metals. And there is the South African Rand. It's been doing its best to glide down. And yesterday we saw gold. At one point it looked like it was going to be in the daily buy, and I think our charts even had it in there for a while. But it didn't last. Let's go over and take a look at it. There's gold. Yeah, it didn't last. It tried to get in there. We had a good spike up. It had it moving up at one point. Let's see, why is that not reflecting at the moment? Let's see if we can do this. Oh, okay. Minus 313. There we are. There it is. So it's trying to climb into the buy today. There you go. Right there. Let's put that in there. So you have there, it's trying to get into the buy because, we look at the South African rand and it's screaming at us. It's moving down, but again, we always, not always, but we've been believing now since the president almost 2 years ago got, it's a year and a half now that the president of South Africa had problems politically and financially. So since then, the currency seems to be way undervalued, or let's put it this way, relative to gold. It should be down in the 13s, and we are trading in the 18s. I'm sorry. So it's almost like a 30% haircut going on with the South African rand. Now to move down like this could be, just a sign of, some politics moving into the right direction for the economy, but it's not really reflecting the metals market, and it hasn't been for like 3 or 4 weeks now. It's been fighting the metals market, not joining in with the metals market. Now let's take a look at silver. Silver, I think, did it get into the buy? Let's go find it. Yeah, see, silver did make it into the buy yesterday, and it's holding up in there today, and it's in a weekly buy too. Whereas when we go back to gold, you can see gold is flirting with the weekly sell, which again is very surprising when you see this downwardly trend with, it's when it's going down, it's gaining against the dollar. So it could be literally an interest rate anticipation. In other words, they're looking at it and they think that they may cut the interest rates between. If they don't cut them in July, they think they may cut them in September because they want to have a cut in there for the election. And everybody knows it's wrong for them to do it, but that they don't. It doesn't matter anymore. They do so many things now that, in many ways, they do so many wrong things that that's why President Biden is losing to Mr. Trump by about 8 to 10% overall around the country, and so they have no reason not to try to do something. In other words, it's it doesn't matter if they get caught at doing bad things at this point because they're going to get caught either way. That's what the problem is for them. So they're very desperate, and that's that move down in the South African rand may be more because of the interest rate anticipation. They may be really convinced that they are going to see some type of cut. A little more tea this morning. So, all right. From there, let's see. We'll take a look at copper. Copper was playing with the sell today, which was a little surprising. Right there, you see it's pressing down. It's just a little bit, but it is, and but it's in a weekly buy for a long while. I'd imagine if anything, it's just China not firming up the market for the moment. Just trying to buy it on the cheap, and then they'll start buying it again, and it'll push. They'll be able to take that profit from it all. Let's see now. Let's see. Last but not least, we always like to call it the greatest risk short in the market, and that is this one. Look at it. They found a way to pop it back up again. This morning it was trying to push down. Now it's popping up again, and we find this particular product a really scary short. It's hard to believe anybody's willing to sell this against the gold, but they sold it. It's over 60% below the gold price, so, or 57% to be exact. But it's like, wow, it's hard to believe that we're watching, platinum under $1,000 and gold over $2,000. That's the amazing one, and it's not like it's 2010 or something like that. It's 2,320 when it comes to gold. I think it's 24, 26. Let's go take a look. There it is. Yeah, $2,324. So, and it's flirting with the buy at the moment, and flirting with the sell, the weekly sell. So flirting with a daily buy, and flirting with a weekly sell. It's on the edge of doing something. All right. Now, what else we got going on here? I guess that's it when it comes to the metals complex. So what we'll do is we'll slide over into the energy sector. And let's see what the energy sector is trying to tell us today. There's crude oil. And crude oil was lifting up a little bit. Now it's moved back down. You know, and we're was that 3, that's 6, going on a 7th day in a sell. We're going on a 3rd week of a sell. So there's some pressure on the oil market. We'll throw it up on J4, not J4X. Can't get J4X up at the moment. Doesn't want to. It opens for me once, and then I have to just get a whole new password. It just does not want to open for me. Yeah, it's something to do with outside of in the United States. I think. I guess if I was Canadian, they would let me have it. Not the Ducascopy. You know, the system is probably blocking Americans from having that charting system. All right, so crude oil there, you can see it. You know, same thing as on the other platform, and in the weekly sell for 2 full weeks, and pressing down. It's obviously we're looking at the 3rd week starting now, I guess you could say. Well, from there we go over to Brent C oil. There's Brent. It's been in a sell for, I don't know, was it for 6 days now? It's been pressuring at 2 full weeks. The energy sector, which I'm, is really happily to see it calm down, because we have oil prices. They're calming, but we've been having oil prices really pressuring the market overall, because the fuel at the stations for your automobiles is becoming more expensive again because of the summer season. All right, and then from there we go over and we look at natural gas right there. You see natural gas flirting with a 2nd week in a buy, and you can see we're looking at 7 days now in daily buys. See that? Marching up. And then we take a look at the energy company down in Spain right there. That's been flirting with the $24 area. And we've got something like 5 out of the last 6 days in a buy, and you can see we're 4 solid weeks in a buy, trying to go on a 5th week here now. And then from there, that basically completes the energy side. Now, we've talked about it before. We're going to take a look at, we've been looking at stocks too for Llanos, and with him gone, I still want to look at like the Amazon, because we've been saying buy the puts because it's in a weekly sell. So let's take a look at the Amazon. See, the stock market's trying to lift back up again out of nowhere. They take it down and they find ways to take it right back up again. Now let's go take a look at the Amazon. Here it is. That's Tesla. And there is Amazon. And Amazon is just down a little bit today, nothing major. It's trying to turn. Still in a weekly sell. Doesn't seem to care about doing anything more than that. Let's see what Apple looks like. Apple's in a sell now for bunch days and a weekly buy. So that one's stuck in a neutral position. Both are at the moment, because Amazon is in a daily buy and a weekly sell. And same thing with Apple in reverse, in a weekly buy and in a daily sell. If anybody wants to see a particular stock, just shout it out and we'll go after it. Now, what I'd like to do is take a look at The grains. Let's open up the grains and take a peek at them. Here it goes. There we go. And here is July beans. You see, they have them down a little bit today, but over the last 3 days, I guess it's over the last 4 days, we've gone from 1,200 to 1,250, and we were in the weekly buy. So from here, or is it right there? Right there, we're in a daily buy from here, and the weekly buy. It closed in the weekly buy, and sure enough, on Monday morning, they jacked it up. And it's interesting because you're seeing that with pretty much the back months too at the same time. Here is, where's that? Right there. There's November beans. Did the same thing, took off. And you can see same thing here, in a weekly buy coming in this week. And then let's take a look at corn. Here's the July corn right there. In the same situation, 5 days in a buy and 3 weeks in a buy. So there's been a lot of pressure coming up from the 1440 area, and we've gotten up to the 1470 area. When looking at the September corn, same situation. 5 days in a daily buy and 3 weeks in a weekly buy. So they've been buying both of them, and they don't seem to be looking back, that's for sure. Then, let me just put my headphone set on. Yo, Robin.
Are you changing images on the screen while you're talking?
Oh, I'm glad you said that. You're right. There we are. I'm going to start all over again. You're right. I had the beta up there.
Also, the Chicago court doesn't show the address at all.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. I didn't realize it. Did not realize. There we are. So, there it is again. There's the grains. And let's see, what else can we say about that? Let's do them all over again. So there is November beans. You see they've buy and a buy and a buy, as I just said. The July beans right there are the same way, all gapping up this week. And then when we go over to the corn, there's September corn, same situation. That's been in a buy even further back. They're for some reason they're really reaching for the grains over the last couple of weeks. They're not backing away. And here's July right there. September and July are taking off. And then where's it at here? Then from there you have the July wheat. There's the July wheat. Couple days of strength. Been in a buy now for 6 weeks. And the daily buys have been really good signals since it went into the buy. Let's see, what else can we say about that? And that's pretty much that. The bean oil usually does follow the oil market, but it's trying to get into the buy here. You can see that right there. It closed there yesterday, and it's trying to stay up. And the thing is that the weekly is weak. So that's the weakness we've been seeing. The grains are overall doing really well, and bean oil is going up because beans are going up in price. That's what it comes down to. It costs more money to make bean oil. And that's the challenge right there. All right, now from there, we'll go over to, what else can we talk about in the grains? I guess that's about it. Was that good, Robin? Looking at those grains? Do you want to see the meats or anything, or just stop at the grains? Oh, Disney's down almost $10. How about that? Huh. Yeah, they knocked down. I heard a couple of analysts talk about it, but I didn't see them what they did when the earnings came out. Wasn't off that much, a couple 100 million. That's about it. But it was like they were in the same billion part. So I think it was 3.8 billion versus 3.11 billion, something like that. I think that's $30 million or $300 million, one or the other. Probably $300 million. No, I think it's like 30 million. So it wasn't that far off, but they were off. Huh. All right. Both? All right, let's check out the grains and the meats. There's the meats. There's October cattle, which is flirting with a weekly buy at the moment after going into the sell up in the 180-ish area. And in that week here, it went into the sell. And you can see it got down to the 160, like 166, 167 area. And now it's perking up again. That is the August contract. Here is the June. And June's also flirting with the weekly buy. And you see it's not in a weekly, it's trying to get into the weekly buy now, and it's been a daily sell for like 6 days. Let's take a look at the feeders, the baby cattle. Gotta have baby cattle to have big cattle. So there's the May contract there, which is still the second most active contract. And you can see it's flirting with a weekly buy. Also, went into that weekly sell up in the 257 area, traded down as low as about 234. And then here is August. August, same situation, trying to fight its way into the buy. It's only Tuesday. And at the same time, you can see it's in a daily sell for 5 days. Right there. And, it's coming off of 270-ish, 269 area. Traded as low as 243 and change, 244. So, that is the meats. Let's check out hogs. There you go, right there. You can see that one's interesting because it's flirting with the weekly sell. That is a little of a surprise. Hogs have been so strong for so long. They've been in a buy since late January, so half a year they've been in a buy. And we saw the product go from the low 90s to the almost 110. What's that high there? I think it's like 108. Changes it? Yeah, 108.75. So, it's been a really strong market when it comes to the hogs. Uh-huh. Trump said he will go to jail to defend free speech. Trump says to protect the Constitution, he'll go to jail. I like that. They just said it's like fighting a gorilla over a banana. Spy. Let's see what spy looks like. Now it's higher. Before it was lower. Now it's higher. We're a third day into the buy. And you know what I saw this morning, which was really interesting? It's on the beta. Check this out. The beta is getting very close. Right there. But check this out. Look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average on the beta. Let's see if we can find it right there. Look at that. It's actually trying to get into the buy. I tell you, if these things get into the buy, I'm going to stop saying dead cat bounce because I'm not going to fight the Fed. So, I mean, that'll be something. If they get these things into a buy, then you know that they are just going to load the boat up. Pull up the truck and buy stocks. Buy. I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to. When the Federal Reserve is in there buying, you got to step out of the way and not try to sell it to them. But look at that. Now, QQ, let's see here is the NASDAQ 100. Very close, climbing back up. You can see the fast is even busting through the zero line, and the slow is getting very close. Now, let's see what it looks like over on the other platform. There it is right there. There it is right there. Yeah, same thing. The fast is busted up through the zero line. It's doing the same thing. It's reaching up. These markets are not concerned. Okay, so Robin says summer rally of large proportion is coming. It feels like it. It really does. The dead cat bounce can't survive when the Fed is in there buying, and that's what it looks like to me, as they're trying to buy this market up. This way they can at least say because that's where I think that's the worst Biden's doing. Actually, he's losing big time because of the border. And the second thing is the economy. Now, pushing the stock market up is not exactly going to be a benefit to him, as far as I can tell. But, this is the way they think, Studies of the 80s. Summer rally, large... Yeah, well, I thought we were already at the fair value for the election. But, in other words, we're... Here, let me just show you. I'll do it here with... let's tighten this up. So here is the beginning of the year, right there. And the NASDAQ was at 17,000. So the NASDAQ got to 18,500, so that's 1,500 points, which is about a 7% move. Normally on an election year, it'll do things will do anywhere from 7 to 10%. Now, when we go and look at the SPY, and I think the SPY is outperforming it right now, so let's look at it that way too. And here it is right there. It was the SPY was trading at 475. So it has climbed to, I think, 525, is it? Basically 525. So 475 to 525 is 50 points, which is about, that's another one. It's pushed itself into the 7% area. It's even more than that, just a little bit more. So, they've already put in a good move. Now, you would have to assume that they're going to want to be long these stocks as it gets closer to the election, and it looks like Mr. Trump is going to win. That type of thing. Fair value, we don't need no stinking fair value. Money managers do. They use PEs, price earnings ratios, and things like that. Right now, the market is a little firm. It's not undervalued. And it's about at fair value of an election year. So in other words, when they took it down before, that gave them a chance to get back into it again. So we don't need no stinking PEs. We do not need no stinking fair values. Yeah, so that's the SPY, and I think I have Diamond in there now too. See how Diamond looks. There's Diamond right there. Diamond 3 days in a buy. And as you can see here, the fast, I guess I'm using the fast on that. I use the 5. So it closed in a weekly buy last week. I would just like to see the slow join in with it. At least it's getting up to the manifold right there. But at this point, it is acting well. And if they go out like this this week in this area, then good chances it's going to be, it'll go into the weekly buy next week. All right. Let's see. From there, so that was the stock indices. We can go around the neighborhood and take a look at the different stock indices on the beta. Let's do that. We'll take a look at the Asian. Whoop, there goes the mouse. Let's take a look and see what the Asian market did last night. All right. So let's take a look at the Nikkei in Tokyo. There it is right there. Trying to climb the last couple days. In a daily buy now for 3 going on 3 days. And at the same time, the weekly is turning up, but still in the sell. We'll see how they go tomorrow with that. And then from there, let's take a look at the Kospi in South Korea. There it is right there. And as you can see there, same situation. Oh, no, actually not. It's trying to lift, but it failed on Friday. And looks like that is, where's the 6 at? Not sure. It must have been a holiday over there. And you can see here the dailies are in a sell and the weekly is in a sell. Just want to look at the Nikkei again. It was in a sell, yeah. Okay, sell, but it's in a daily buy, so they're buying the stocks. Maybe that's because of the currency getting cheap. It's like stocks are a bargain with the currency dropping more and more. When it's going up, it's losing money. That's what it is. It's losing against the dollar. And then from there, we go over to Taiwan. The Taipei Index. Right there. You can see it's battling about trying to get back into the buy at the moment. You can see it's just a little bit above the 0, but a lot more below the 0. And the daily is pressing down. And you can see the last couple of days has been sideways up, actually. It's been, with red dots, though. They've and they gapped them up last night. And then we'll take a look at the Philippines. There's the Philippines. Philippines are backing off a little bit in a daily sell for 3 days. And a weekly sell for over 6 weeks, going on 7. Then we drift over to, let's go to this, let's go with Shanghai. We'll go geographically. So we'll go to Shanghai. There's Shanghai. Shanghai is 5 days in a buy, going on 6, and 4 full weeks going on 5 when it comes to the weekly buy there. You can see it's been pressuring its way up. See that there? Just up, up, up. Then we go over to Hong Kong. See what Hong Kong is up to. There it is, the Hang Seng. Hang Seng has been in a daily buy for about 11, 12 days. And you can see they put a little pressure on it. It was down a little bit last night. And, right there, you can see that pressure it was on. And at the same time, you can see we're 3 solid weeks. That's 21 days in a weekly buy. Trying a 4th week now. From there, we're going to go to the Singapore. I found another stock index to pay attention to. Here is the Singapore Straits Times. And you can see there, it's been a little weak the last, 3 days back it was. And it's 3 days in a sell. But look at the weekly. The weekly's been strong for 9 weeks now. So it's not exactly, it's more of like a profit taking. Let's see if we can get that box in there. Do it one more time. So something like that. You see, it's had strength trying to move up, and even now when they're trying to sell it, it seems to be finding ways to go higher. Now today it did sell down. It made a new high, and then you can see it sold down in there. So that's why we've been seeing the weakness in the algorithm for the last couple of days. But the weekly itself is laughing it off. It's not really taking it that serious. All right, and then from there, we go to the All Ordinaries Index in where's that at? In Australia. You can see they spiked that thing up yesterday, and it's acting really firm today too. It's a second day in a buy, so 2 days in a buy now. And the weekly is over the zero line a little bit. It's more on the south side than it is on the north side. Yep. All right. So from there, let's see. From there we go over to India, heading to the Indian Ocean. And you can see there 3 days now in a sell. The bar will come in there tomorrow. And you can see 2 weeks in a sell. Going on a third week in a sell. So we're seeing some weakness really get going in here. You know, it's starting to break down. All right. Now that was that was the Pacific and the Indian Ocean. Let's go over to Europe and see what Europe is up to. Okay, let's take a look at the DAX. Not the DAX. The DAX. I think it's the Zetra DAX. We'll see in a second. There it is. GDAX. Now it's been in a daily buy for 2 days, and you can see it's been perking up here, showing that strength. And you can see it closed in a weekly buy last week, and we'll probably be in that weekly buy again this week with it moving up. Let's see. Let's just open that to there again. You can see it's at a 3-week high now, I guess you could say. So it's definitely trying to lift up. And then from there, we'll take a look at the French market. That's the CAC 40. And it's got 1 day in a buy. You can see it right there. Let me just double check. Yep. So, it's... There we go, right there. And let's take a look at that weekly. See the weekly, 4 weeks in a sell. Let's see if they start to turn it up this week. Let's see. Let's check out the FTSE out of London, which has been playing at all-time highs. Okay, FTSE. There we are. There we go. There. 4 days in the daily buy. Let's go take a look at the product. It must be all way up there still. Yep. Look at that today. And I'm not sure why 6 is not in there, but what I could do is close it and restart it. But that's all right. I think I'll just leave it at that because it's only 2 products it's done that to. And then you can see here the FTSE. Let's put the FTSE in there again. You can see the FTSE is 9 weeks in a weekly buy. So they are not aiming down. They seem to be reaching up. And all right, now we slide over to the Russell 2000, which has been very impressive. Russell 2000 has been, it's our weakest of the 4 stock indices that we follow in the States here. And you can see 3 days in a buy for the 3rd day now. We can see here that the weekly was threatening to go into a buy last week. That's the close of last week there. And we'll see how tomorrow it'll show us, or by the close of the night, it'll show us what this week is starting off as. All right. And then we'll go over to Bitcoin, the actual Bitcoin itself, not the GBTC, but the Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin's 5 days in a daily buy, having a little pressure here today, but it is still up. And our weekly signal is telling us for 5 weeks now on the downtrend. And that's why we've seen this sloping action this way down. It's been pressing down for that reason. There you go. So that's the Bitcoin. And that'll be interesting when it gets back into the weekly buy if this thing really takes off. It led last time. This time it doesn't seem to be leading. The Bitcoin, the cryptos seem to be a little bit more anemic, a little surprising, but they are. They seem to be a little anemic. In other words, it's been, it went down into the 50s, like 57,000, was it? Something like that. What's that right there? 56,500. I think we're back in the 63,000 now, or 65. Played with the 65,000 yesterday. You see that right there. And I think the all-time high is like 72 or 73,000. So I mean, it's like we're right on the edge constantly with this product. I've seen those headlines. Gold or Bitcoin. Back and forth, that challenge. Which one is the better one to be owned? It definitely has people. A lot of people were very impressed with the cryptos. They pay the same dividend as gold. Gold doesn't pay a dividend, and neither do they. So I guess now the gold stocks, but then gold stocks are not exactly outperforming the marketplace. That's the problem, They are definitely not outperforming the marketplace. It's not following the metals. Let's put that. I mean, they're going up, but nowhere near the strength. So now we got to come up with a title, and I'm not too. Let's see, cancel. The title yesterday was "Stocks and Indexes Dead Cat Bounce," but you know what? I'm seeing that Fed coming into the market again. So you can't fight the Fed. So the real statement of it all is that no dead cat bounce. No dead cat bounce. And it's looking pretty, it's looking pretty good. It's just, they're following through and they're not backing off. So, and I'd imagine that if we see a daily buy in that Amazon, then we'll just sell puts against the long puts and call it a day. That's it. But the one thing for sure is that it's been weak. It has been weak because it's still in the weekly selling and it's actually drifting further down. All right, traders, this is Doc. I guess we're going to be getting out of here at this point. So this is Doc from North America. We will catch you all tomorrow at the same time, same channel. Tomorrow will be Wednesday, and that'll be interesting to see. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our Dukascopy friends. So we'll catch you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. Ta-ta for now.